Hi everyone, this is Mr. Harden of Harden's Manga, here to tell you about My Hero Academia Volume 1. Our cover shows the lead in Izuku Midoriya with a big smile, green hair, school uniform, and bright red boots, staring up at the hero All Might. Plus, the background is sporting many heroes that, as one reads through this finished series, will surely love them as they get introduced. The opening pages let us know that the powers people have in this world are called quirks and are acquired at birth, and that our lead Deku doesn't have one. Many heroes have them, and our lead wants to be a hero, regardless of being quirkless. This volume has 7 chapters to explain how a boy with no quirks ends up enrolled at a hero school. So buckle up as we jump right in. After the explanation of quirks in Chapter 1, we see a small hero fight explaining how the rise of quirks, both heroes and villains, became normal, with Midoriya being a super fan of hero work. We see Midoriya's middle school class with an intense set of quirks afterwards, with one person standing out, being a young boy named Bakugo, who, unlike Midoriya, has a very intense, edgy kind of aura to him, with spiked hair, a loud mouth, and a lot of hate for Midoriya. He is aiming for the same hero program at UA that Midoriya is. Now, when Bakugo is digging into Midoriya for being quirkless, the art around him is jaw dropping. The mangaka thrives at showing facial expressions to show emotional depth. Bakugo berates Midoriya quite a bit, and some frames of a village rampaging through the city are shown before changing scenes to a flashback. Young Midoriya is rewatching his favorite hero All Might's debut save. All Might is who Midoriya wishes to be like. The flashback ends as Midoriya enters an underpass where the villain who's been rampaging appears behind him. The art for villains are quite intense and very visually pleasing. This is only a minor villain too, with no name, so just wait for what the mangaka has in store for the future. But jumping back into the story, while Midoriya attempts to fight off the villain, All Might appears to save the day. After saving Midoriya, though, he can't just let All Might go. And in a funny panel, we see him jumping onto his back while he blasts off through the sky, landing into the next scene with Bakugo front and center, being attacked by the same villain as Midoriya. Reason being, All Might dropped it when Midoriya jumped on him. Also, All Might undergoes a big change from ripped to skinny and frail looking, even going so far as to explain to Midoriya that a villain did this to him. The story goes back and forth here a bit, but the payoff of seeing Bakugo being taken over in a 3/4 page panel by this villain is insanely cool. The heroes on site are unable to save Bakugo, as nobody is willing to help, stating their quirk isn't correct for the job. Midoriya, though, he's roaming the streets after his encounter with All Might, feeling down on himself. That is until he spots Bakugo, and in his eyes can see he needs help. Instead of backing down, he runs in to save him in an insane, heart pounding full page panel. Though Midoriya wasn't the one who saves him, All Might is. The situation sets forth a new future for our leading character, as All Might ends the chapter, letting us know even he can become a hero. Chapter 2 sees us right in the same street with All Might explaining to Midoriya that he can transfer his quirk one for all to him. Midoriya is quick on agreeing to the proposal and sees us move into a bit of a training session for our brave lead. The explanation for needing the training is incredibly funny too, as All Might explains that Midoriya has a limp noodle build. Like, it's honest, but dang, it cracked me up at least. Nice to have these comedy moments. The plan continues on, though, for Midoriya, as his task is not only to get into UA, but to be a vessel for One for All, and all by cleaning this beach to get strong enough. This results in a classic training montage that sees little amount of dialogue boxes. The art is crisp, the emotions present, and the effort feels rewarding. Midoriya doesn't just want to be any hero after all. He's going to be the best. Culminating in moving forward to the day of the exam, standing on top of the trash mountain, Midoriya and us as readers get to see this beautiful view of the once littered beach. Also, they show off the fact he got pretty jacked in his 10-month training window. So big props. But will it help him in the UA entrance exam? Though this would have been a clear way to end the chapter, no, the mangaka finally shows us how Midoriya will get his powers by eating a strand of All Might's hair, leading us into chapter 3. Chapter 3 sees us to the entrance exam held at UA's campus. Midoriya is super nervous, almost face planting straight into the pavement, but is saved by a girl that will become important in a bit. We then enter to hear that the test will start off with city maneuvers with mock villains in place to test the examinees. What isn't explained can be seen in the panels, though, that the testing site is in fact a model city, which is extreme, but is understandable for the number one hero school. The roar from the exam site, it begins. We see the faux villains are more like giant mechas. Quite a change to how the villains are designed in Chapter 1. These are more true to that of training. But just stop and stare for a moment at how well drawn they are. With a highlight being after Midoriya panics about points, we see a giant one looming over everyone. It's daunting, but absolutely stunning in design. For not being a series based on mechs, it's really hard to tell in this instance. But back on the story, everyone runs from the giant robot. But the girl who had saved our boy from earlier in this chapter trips herself in front of this big old robot. Without flinching, we see Midoriya leap into action, and we finally see him utilize his new quirk, absolutely smashing the giant robot, ending the chapter. Chapter 4 sees Midoriya falling from the sky as his arm is flailing in pain from utilizing his new quirk. Luckily, instead of splattering all over the ground, the girl he saved in turn saves him with her power. Unfortunately, though, with 0 points, the exam ends. Only one person even noticed that Midoriya jumped in to save her without really thinking of the exam. A week passes by after this, and Midoriya, sitting in his home, receives the letter from UA that houses a hologram announcing All Might will be teaching this year. Even more, we see the girl again that Midoriya had saved, asking to give her points to him so that he might pass as well. Well, she can't. But destroying the villains wasn't the only thing they were looking for, as the save got him points as well, clearing him to join the school and ending the chapter. Chapter 5 sees Midoriya and All Might talking on the beach cleaned in Chapter 2. Our lead is worried that he shouldn't have received the power and be the successor to All Might. Though, like a real hero, All Might softens those thoughts. As he explains, like anything, it will take time to strengthen, and he won't break himself every time using these powers. We then take a scene shift, seeing Midoriya out the door to his new school and class of 1A, seeing familiar faces like Bakugo and the girl from the exam. Her name is Ochako, and she has a very warm, cute feeling to her design, now that we get a full showing of her. With a bob hairstyle and spunky smile, even our lead can't help but call her cute. Though Bakugo, to no surprise, is not happy in the slightest that Midoriya made it in. After a while of the students talking, though, the homeroom teacher finally appears in Shoto Aizawa, a tall, slender man with black hair who is not ready or willing to deal with any shenanigans, telling everyone to jump into PE gear to see what they are capable of, even stating that whomever scores the lowest will be dropped from the program. Clearly a tough teacher. Even All Might think so. But it will be our hero's test, and that will be tackled next chapter. Chapter 6 sees a formal introduction of a character that has been shown throughout the volume in Tenya, with his engine quirk on full display in a 50-yard dash. He's very uptight and has been pretty serious with a strong build, glasses, and a well kept hairstyle. But since he hadn't provided his name up until this point, figured best to only introduce him fully now. As well, more classmates get introduced both for first appearance in panels and fully naming them. But for now, I will try to keep the character introductions to those that fully interact with our lead. For now as well, Midori is doing just average. Currently in these events, as he is trying not to break the egg that is his new quirk. When he's finally ready to send it all in on the ball toss event, He feels the need to really win it. We see the homeroom teacher introduce his quirk, though, erasure, causing Midoriya to mess up his throw, even giving a speech on how, with his power, he'd only inconvenience those around him. This treatment is very different from how All Might has been, as a mentor for sure. But despite this, Aizawa lets Midoriya try again with his quirk, and he pulls it off by only sacrificing a finger in a super cool half page panel, ending the chapter. Chapter 7, the final one of this volume, starts with an amazingly funny panel of a super shocked Bakugo. Seeing how he's known Midoriya for a long time, he's beyond shocked. With all the events wrapped up, we see that Aizawa was kidding about the expulsion, but was seriously testing them, even giving ranks for everyone in the class, with Midoriya at the very bottom. With everything over and people going home, both Ochako and Tenya run into Midoriya and provide a nickname that's going to continue to stick for him in Deku. The next day comes, and we see the push to read on to Volume 2 as well, as All Might's first class is coming up, and it's battle training, showing a final page with beautiful artwork for a lot of the class's first hero costume already on. My Hero Academia Volume 1 is very plus ultra. The characters wear their emotions on their sleeves and are drawn with care. The world, while familiar, feels incredibly unique, with things like small city centers just to train superheroes being reality there. Nothing is underwhelming and is a great pickup for those who might be new to manga, along with anybody who just enjoys heroes in general. Let us know what your favorite moment was in Volume 1 in the comments below, and thank you for taking the time to watch. This has been Mr. Harden of Harden's Manga, and remember, manga is for everyone.